discussion is on mobility and an incredible new catalyst for e-commerce growth. I would like to introduce our moderator, Mr. Sudipta Ghosh, partner PwC. Sudipta Ghosh has 17 years of consulting experience in analytics, information management, and enterprise performance management implementations in industries like FMCG, retail, telco, auto, oil and gas, pharmaceuticals, and metals in functional areas of marketing, finance, and HR. He is currently the analytics head responsible for defining the product or solution strategy, go-to-market initiatives, and incubating differentiated solutions from an industry domain perspective at PwC India. Additionally, he has responsibilities in the consumer, industrial products, and services sector, which includes market development along with execution responsibilities for both domestic and international markets. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for Mr. Sudipta Ghosh, who will be the moderator from PwC. Welcome, sir. In the panel, we have Mr. Alok Goel, Managing Director, SAIF Partners. Mr. Alok is the Managing Director with SAIF Partners and looks at early stage investing. Prior to being an investor, Alok was the CEO of FreeCharge, where he executed India's largest internet M&A deal by selling FreeCharge to Snapdeal. He built the entire team, company strategy, and led 35 times increase in the company valuation in a matter of 2 years. Before FreeCharge, he was the COO of Redbus and part of the team that sold Redbus to Naspers in yet another largest M&A deal in Indian internet space. He holds several patents and was earlier leading display ads business for Google based out of Mountain View headquarters. Welcome, sir. Next in the panel, we have Bhavik Jhaveri, founder, Ambab. Mr. Bhavik is a serial technopreneur and an emerging market observer. Bhavik has successfully founded and built some of the leading ventures in e-commerce, consumer internet, and digital media space across India and global markets. In his last 2 ventures, Bhavik has co-founded craftsvilla.com and was a CTO for Smile Group's fashion and you.com. Currently founder and CEO of Ambab, India-based largest product incubator, Bhavik is committed to build a startup ecosystem in the country. Welcome, sir. Next, we have Julie Lynn, Senior Manager, Risk Management, PayPal. Julie Lynn has nearly a decade of experience in the online commerce industry. A global visionary, she has led product and strategic initiatives for the Americas, Europe, and Asia markets in the areas of e-commerce, channel distribution, payments, and regulatory compliance. As a director of global e-commerce programs with Digital River, Julie Lynn launched a localized e-commerce solution for the Indian market, managed business operations for India, as well as product strategy for Brazil, Russia, and China. Most recently, Julie Lynn has joined the Indian team at PayPal as Senior Manager, Risk Management. Welcome, Julie. Next, we have Mr. Mrinal Chaterjee, Director, Technology Payments Pay with Amazon. Mrinal is an entrepreneur, product and technology leader with over 23 years of industry experience delivering world-class platforms in enterprise and consumer in Tennety, Fortune 100 and startups. Mrinal heads payments, product development in Amazon India Payments, building next-generation payments innovation for all Amazon businesses in India. Prior to Amazon, Mrinal was co-founder and CTO at shopclose.com, where he developed India's first managed marketplace platform, enabling over 100,000 merchants to sell online. Prior to ShopClose, Mrinal has worked for 16 years in Silicon Valley startups like Contenix.com, Ro9.com, acquired by BeyondTheRack.com, Tableau Inc., acquired by RSA EMC, and established companies like Epiphany and Oracle. Welcome, sir. Next, we have Nagarajan Pichumani, the co-founder and CTO, Appedo. Nagarajan is a co-founder and CTO of Appedo. Naga has spent his entire career in performance engineering and testing and has worked on some of the most complex problems in the industry. Appedo's vision is to go beyond the APM, offering advanced analytics and actionable intelligence to improve user experience for our clients. Prior to co-founding Appedo, Naga was the founder and CEO of Softsmith Infotech, an organization dedicated to performance engineering, reporting, and testing. Welcome, sir. Next, we have Ravi Tennety, COO, Tata Teleservices. Ravi is currently the COO of Tata Teleservices, a leading provider of end-to-end telecommunication solutions in the B2B segment across India. Previously, Ravi was a general manager and head of operations South at Bharti Airtel Limited, India's largest mobile operator by subscriber base. Welcome, sir. And last on the panel list, we have Mr. Shivanandan Pare, head eCommerce, Madura. Shivanand Pare heads a Trendin.com at Madura Fashion and Lifestyle. He joined MFL to build e-commerce business. Over the last 3 years, he has successfully built and grown Trendin.com at an annualized rate of over 150%. He is instrumental to have built a true internet startup culture with MFL. Can we have a round of applause for the entire panel? And we can start now.
Thank you very much for the introduction. So we have a fairly exciting topic. I know it's not very easy after a sumptuous lunch to sit through a series of discussions, but we'll hope and try to make it as interesting and interactive as possible. So the topic for the discussion today is mobile, is whether mobility is a catalyst for growth in the e-commerce, right? So before I kind of start it off, I just thought I'll share a quick snippet. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and she told me one day that Dad, I want to buy Barbie from Flipkart, and I was So I said, where do you hear about this? I said, no, my friends are all buying from Flipkart. I don't know why you go to the malls and buy. So I was completely taken aback. I realized that, well, not only this is a new segment, it is also a new category, which is like toys and fashion, which my kid is trying to buy from a website. So that kind of opened my eyes that we are living in a completely different world. So there would be a few themes which we would like to talk today, and first of them is the fact that what is the trend we are seeing in the e-commerce space, or whether it is moving from e-commerce to an m-commerce, where mobile devices or mobile apps will become really the engine for growth as far as e-tailing is concerned. So I would like to invite Shiva. If Shiva can share some thoughts on the trends which you are experiencing currently in the marketplace with your vast experience in this field, Shiva.
Hi. So the way we look at it, I would like to say e-commerce or m-commerce are the one. Ultimately, consumers would like to shop from anywhere and everywhere and wherever they are, right? Mobile is driving it. So just to give you a sense, sometime last year, September, we started seeing a huge shift in terms of traffic coming from mobile at Trendin level. And at that point in time, we didn't have any mobile app or anything. And my marketing team started telling me that, our ability to attract traffic is shifting on the mobile, not on the desktop. Desktop is more and more reducing in terms of acquiring traffic. This is when we realized, by then the big guys, the big brothers had already moved to the app scenario and everything. And we were debating internally that whether somebody would like to download an app for just 5 brands. Just to give you an idea, Trendin operates in only Madura brands. Louis Philippe, Van Heusen, Allen Solly, VH, Peter England and People, and Pantaloons. So internally we were debating whether, for these 5 brands, somebody will download an app. So this debate led us to launch a mobile browser site first. Last month, June, mid-June, we launched our Android app. We have not spent a single penny on advertising it. We are already 25,000 plus app downloads. And then we started looking at what is happening. Mobile is already now 40% of Trendon's business. Second larger thing, we started working with a startup to identify. The beauty of mobile is, we can really look at where the consumer is and what is he doing. And for us, being a startup within a large brick and mortar organization which has more than 1,500 stores, this was very interesting. In last 1 month, we collected data that out of these 25,000 people who had downloaded our app, 15,000 people have visited over the last 5 weekends, almost 15 times close to our store. They were there close to our store. Now, this is what is power of mobile commerce. Now, we can call it mobile commerce, or I would still like to say that it's e-commerce while the device has shifted. The access device has shifted. That's how I would like to, that's how powerful this is.
Sure. So we spend more time with our mobile than with anybody else. And that's the premise for what we're talking about in terms of a trend. So Alok, would you like to share your thoughts on what trends you're experiencing in the e-commerce space?
I've actually been pretty fortunate in terms of watching the mobile internet growth in the country since 2009. I started working in Google in the mobile area, and the whole charter was to grow the mobile internet ecosystem. At that point of time, early 2009, there were only 2 million mobile internet users in the country, whereas there were about 20 million desktop internet users. Fast forward to 2015, as of now, there are about 50 million desktop internet users, which is like 100% growth or 150% growth. But there are about 200 million active mobile internet users, which is actually 100x increase. And the fact of the matter is that all the new users which are getting connected to internet are actually getting connected to internet through mobile only. The time in 2009 was when we used to go and talk to a business, and we used to convince them you should have a mobile strategy, you should have a mobile website, etc. The guy will say, why should I have anything on mobile? Because there are only those many users. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my bandwidth and resources, because bandwidth is always at premium in a business. And today we are talking here about mobile only as an ecosystem. And it is certainly true, because in just like a matter of 6 years or so, the market has dramatically changed. And in our business, the business Freecha that I was associated with, about 2 years back, we launched our mobile product. And in no time, in a matter of like 6 months, our business became largely mobile only. We were getting about 90% of our transactions on the mobile internet, which actually opened our eyes that if we had not created a good mobile product, our business would have been pretty much redundant. We would have been left irrelevant in this market. And there are many companies which you can actually go and analyze which don't have a mobile presence and hence are actually becoming redundant. Because at this point of time, if a consumer is coming onto internet through mobile as a channel, he has never seen desktop internet. He is not moving from desktop to mobile. So he is not going through a retraining. The first training itself was on mobile. The second thing which has largely happened is, which is largely the contributor for this growth from 2 million to 200 million mobile internet users, is a phenomenon called WhatsApp. In 2009, when Aircel launched the pocket internet connection, where Dhoni was the brand ambassador, the connection costed about 98 rupees a month for a GB of data. And people did not have a good reason to buy a 98 rupee connection. What is the value that this 98 rupees is adding into my life was a question that most of the users used to ask, which was the reason why people will not buy mobile internet. But WhatsApp actually gave the first reason for people to buy a mobile internet connection, because now they could replace a 60-70 rupees that they were paying to a telecom operator for a SMS pack. That SMS pack got replaced by this 98 rupee data pack, and hence you had an ability to send infinite number of SMS messages. And today that WhatsApp, which started giving this reason of buying a data connection to the consumers, started creating this growth of mobile internet ecosystem in the country, is actually fueling the next wave of internet adoption in the country. In fact, now WhatsApp has actually gone beyond beyond just the communication platform. It's actually becoming a tool through which businesses do fundamental business. For example, today a carpenter will actually take a picture and share it with his client through WhatsApp instead of actually going physically to the place. That makes that carpenter's work so much more efficient. And fundamentally, WhatsApp plus mobile internet user base has dramatically changed the business outlook and everything in the country.
That's a very interesting, observation, and something which we all know has been impacting our lives. Um, just wanted some thoughts from Ravi in terms of how he sees, from a service provider perspective, this market is panning out with new opportunities in this space.
As a service provider, we are at a vantage point where we are both the observer as well as the participants. One of these strong byproducts of the telecom revolution was the fact that we could capture the customer data, right? We could understand where a customer lives, what is his number, so on and so forth. So we could capture some level of know your customer initiative, right? We could capture some of this customer data. And that added a huge amount of collateral into the way we pitched the products and services. If you cut to e-commerce now, or m-commerce as it's becoming, it is at an exponential level of know your customer, right? Not only are we trying to understand in what geographical location, what buying behavior, what demographic profile, what are his likes and dislikes. So this is real-time know your customer database. That's what is driving the e-commerce. With the mobile reach and the mobile's ability to capture this data, the app was a natural forward integration of a know your customer initiative. So today, you cannot have an e-commerce working without the availability and reach of a mobile. And we, as a service provider, are consistently pushing our own envelopes in trying to keep pace with innovations that are happening in the e-tailing industry.
Thank you so much for those insights. Now, switching topics a little, we know that the fuel for growth in the retail space is tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And we also know that effectively this has been made easily accessible because of the affordability. Now you have got cheaper smartphones which enable you to penetrate those cities. Also, there is a question of having the availability. So for example, you cannot really have a very high-end brand retail shop available in a tier 2, tier 3 city, but then if you have the app, you can use it for buying those products which are considered very premium. So wanted to get some thoughts from Mrinal on this topic of how we are seeing this as an engine of growth, and particularly the mobility is adding to that momentum from a growth perspective in newer markets.
Thank you. So, it's phenomenal what mobility and what Alok has spoken about and what Shiva has spoken about. Mobility, we all know, and all of us also carry some sort of a smartphone. Tier 2, Tier 3 city has been seeing some very interesting phenomena. Just like in India, we almost went and leapfrogged the traditional landline revolution which happened in Europe and the first world countries, and we went straight into the mobile. With the internet connections, I think it's the same thing that we are seeing in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. It is much easier to get a 2G, 3G connection to access internet. And also the other phenomena we are seeing in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities is a lot of the people who are coming online, they're coming online on mobile. A lot of those people don't have a desktop or a laptop at home. And secondly, also, given how heterogeneous our Indian society is, the top tier brands and access to not only just top tier brands, but regular day-to-day use brands are not accessible in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. You have markets and you have sector markets. You don't have those ginormous malls in these small cities. So they don't have access to a lot of these products. And I think e-commerce, m-commerce, whatever we call it, it's giving customers the same selection like people who are living in the metro tier 1 cities they have the same access to the similar kind of product selection. Mobility is making it easier to shop anywhere. The internet connectivity available through mobile devices means you are connected at any point in time. And to the point that Alok was also mentioning earlier, now people have a reason, thanks to WhatsApp and some of the other social media programs, that people are willing to pay for an internet connection on their smartphone devices. And so all of these things are coming together, and we are seeing just a huge growth in number of people wanting to buy and consume both content and products through mobile.
And just expanding on that topic, Julie, how you think these new markets are getting addressed, and what are some of those features which you would like to share which is getting impacted because of mobility?
You know, I think it's a really good point that you bring up that in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, there's an awareness of premium product, there's awareness of brand. There's also an awareness that consumers don't have to buy what their local retailer or mom and pop kiosk is selling. They have options. On the other hand, though, they have a relationship with somebody that is there on the corner if something breaks. They have no idea where Flipkart or whomever is located. They have no idea how to repair it, how to return it, how to get any type of guidance on how to use it. And so there still is a desire to work with somebody they know that's located around the corner, as opposed to in a complete different area of the country or even outside of the country. And so I think one of the trends that you're seeing, the demand is there. People have the phone, so they want to buy it. But retailers aren't necessarily sophisticated or economically strong enough to stock it. And so the ability of m-commerce or e-commerce is enabling retailers to sell things, get a commission for it, be paid for it, using the internet, but still be a representative for that product to the consumer in the market. So if a consumer goes to their local retailer and wants, I don't know, a pink phone, and they only have gray phones, that retailer can order it, have it shipped to the consumer, and still get a commission, and still maintain that relationship with the consumer when they need a service or they want to upgrade or they have other questions regarding that product. And that's another phenomenon that e-commerce is providing, which is very exciting.
Absolutely, and completely agree with you on that. So just trying to get a perspective from our serial entrepreneur, Bhavik, in terms of you having really created a lot of markets, and since we are talking about new markets and new segments, can you share some of your thoughts in terms of how mobility and e-commerce is fueling some of those markets which is going to significantly grow in the future?
So, so primarily, the discussion is how mobility will be catalyst for e-commerce and future commerce and stuff like that. But probably I'll just keep this point clear that mobility doesn't mean mobile app. So it's not necessarily when we say mobile and mobile connectivity, we are talking about creating mobile apps, and because with mobility also comes a lot of infrastructure challenges. And so if you say 200 million mobile internet connections, what are those phones? Are these people, when they're using these phones, really know that they're connected to internet? They probably just know that I'm using Facebook. But is this Facebook actually internet connected? Is there a knowledge transfer which is happening to them? So probably, one, obviously there's no war versus, there's web versus mobile app. No, that's not the case. If that's the case, then Google will soon be out of business. Browsers are improving. Google is investing heavily in creating browsers which are capable of doing everything that mobile app can do in browser. So the trends, if you really have to predict, is that yes, as I think Shiva told, that first thing you obviously go mobile, and it's I think the way you decide that you want to go mobile app or you want to go mobile is your business a utility business, or is it how many times your real consumer need you? So if I'm a shopping app, and if I'm a luxury jewelry shopping app, probably consumer don't need me for probably once in 2 years. Why would he install my app? Versus if I'm a Uber app, he needs me twice a day. and he'll install me. So it's experience, it's discovery, it's the access to data, it's the real estate that I share with you in my mobile, giving me the value for installing you. So there's so many factors that you consider before you say that I'm a mobile only, mobile app only. That's not going to work that way. We already see Microsoft going out of business saying that I'm app only, and then saying, okay, I'll come in cloud. By that time, Google had already launched spreadsheets on cloud. So what do you do? So browsers are becoming smarter. So that's one technical area to consider before we decide our mobile strategy, and how we segment our customer. At the same time, yes, mobile as an enabler has its own native benefits, right? It comes with GPS, it comes with Bluetooth, it comes with Wi-Fi capabilities, and still keeping you mobile. So the convenience factor that every single consumer enjoy when they are on mobile is much better than desktop. The technology is probably like beacon. So this is something where I can not only GPS is one area where I can locate you across country, etc. While you are in the store. So how do I locate you if you're on certain aisle, certain area of the store, probably trying to buy? So RFID, so IoT will, Internet of Things will play a next big role when enabling mobile as probably one of the largest enabler for decision making in given in future time. So I think it does opens a lot of other opportunities. One of the best examples is Ola app and Uber app, where the car hire market did not exist. It's just the mobile and the capabilities of mobile which created this market. And the way they've created, we all are witnessing it, right? So it's not, for me primarily, mobile is 100% a catalyst, but it's not replacing web for sure.
So that's an interesting point. It's not really about the mobile app, or it is not really about the internet browser. It's all about the experience which you are trying to give to a consumer, and that's the next conversation topic which I would draw our attention to. That what are some of those experiences we are trying to give, which is actually either creating a new market for us or helping us to expand our existing market significantly. So I'd like to get some perspective from Nagarajan on this topic in terms of how he's experiencing or what has been the trend in this space.
We are a performance team. The first behavior thing that we see in the consumers is the mobile has made people so impatient. Previously they got used to the desktop. Now when they are in the mobile, the mobile is so irresistible. You can see so many people here still, the mobile is active and you are seeing something there. It's irresistible because you are spending more time with the mobile than anybody else. Since it is available to you anytime, you are able to reach, and the brands are able to reach you, and you have got multiple touch points. Previously, if you go to the traditional ads or anything, you have to see the billboards, newspapers, magazines, or you have to go to the PC, you have to go to the table, you have to sit in a particular position to see that. But now with the mobile, you can be in any position, doing Sirsasana, still you can have that mobile, okay? Don't do that, okay? So the mobile reaches you and the brands are reaching you anytime. And it is so irresistible. You get 1 minute in the lift, or you get 1 minute in the parking lot, or in the signal, you are doing something on the mobile. Whether it is useful or not, it doesn't matter to the consumers. So the behavior that I see is multiple touch points. So the brands are seen again and again and again. And by theory of this forensic science, victim tapes the impressions of each other. That's one point that we see. The second point we see is the connected to the impatience. Since the mobile users are getting so impatient, seeing it again and again, it has to load. If it doesn't load, they abandon the brand. And it doesn't stop there. Then they start, immediately since the mobile is there, you put a comment in Twitter. Share the bad experience in Facebook. And somebody starts liking it. And it is not erasable so easily. It's a big pain. But since the information is available to you, you are able to access it. You go there again and again. You don't have to go physically, but you are there. And at the back end, your companies, the brands are watching you. It gives one more thing, opportunity for the brands. So much of traffic coming over there. It directly it has a bearing on the technology side, infrastructure side. You should have more servers to cater your mobile users. So much of traffic, as Alok was pointing out, when the PC market improved by 10 times, mobile market improved by 100 times or more, that means you are going to get 100 times more hits to your servers. Your pages are visited. At that point of time, if the performance is not good, you are losing the complete campaign money. You are spending dollars, crores and crores of money. And that behavior, again, it's a good behavior. If consumers are coming to you, it's fast, responding fast, user experience is good. With all UX, you can have a jazzy UI, everything, engaging. But if the speed, the first mantra of user experience is speed, 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 perform faster, fail faster, no harm. But it has to perform fast. If the speed doesn't satisfy the user expectations, the rest of the user experience is not there. So that way, the mobile is increasing the traffic, the business is watching it is increasing, so they have to optimize all their apps to render properly on mobile. So that's the second experience that people have. The third experience that we see is in different segments. So you worked out that your daughter bought a thing from Flipkart. In fact, my daughter asked a question. The TV remote control and the set-top box remote control is now one. Why it is not available on the phone? Can we get some phone? It's going to come, definitely it's going to come one day or the other. Maybe it's already there that I don't know. So it goes with the age. We want to buy something. In fact, when we meet people, people say, again, I also say that, don't design your systems. Again, if anybody is wearing a white shirt, please pardon me. Don't design your systems for the people who are having white shirts, full sleeves. Okay? Design the systems for the people who are toned jeans, uncombed hair, tattoo guys, right? That's the next gen, uncollared t-shirts. Design the system only for them because that's the next generation. In another 10 years, they are going to be the decision makers in the respective organizations or businesses. The first thing that they look at is the mobile. So the behavior changes with the generation. When it comes to the next strata, like starting from 8th standard or even 7th standard, education. It's a big thing. I think it's still very highly underserved in India on the mobile side. There are only static sessions served. Imagine if the interactive sessions are served in the mobile. Look at the market. So the behavior of the consumer, depending upon the industry, it changes. But as Appedo, what we see is that the topmost thing is the performance, the speed. Thank you.
I think that was very, very interesting, Nagarajan. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Unfortunately, we have come to an end of our time because I have been told by the organizers to kind of wrap it up quickly. So I would like to open now the conversation to questions, and I would invite all of you to feel free to ask any question to the panelists on this topic, and we'll be more than happy to share our thoughts and our comments on your questions.
Hi, this is Amish from Days Info. So I have a question for all the panelists. If you see in 2014, the overall e-commerce sales, the overall retail sales was clocked at $717 billion. By 2018, the same sales will grow up to $1.27 trillion. So the e-tailing was contributing around 0.7%. And by next 4 years, it will again account for only 1.4%. So it's still around 98% market is offline. So what I'm asking is, if mobile, the revolution is so great, why it is not contributing enough and driving and multiplying the growth at least in the next 3-4 years?
I think, well, you're right from a stat perspective. The growth is going to be more phenomenal in India because India has almost leapfrogged organized retail, is leapfrogging the desktop e-commerce to mobile. And if you look at our distribution shortages, from a geography perspective, mobile fills that gap. I'll give you another stat. China took almost 14 years to reach 7.5% of their total retail GDP contributed by e-commerce, right? So it won't be that e-commerce would hit 40%, 50% in India in 3 years. But that 7.5% is the younger generation, as Nagarajan was putting in, as a lot of my colleagues put in here, right? They are the future. When they shift, they are not going to go back to offline. So when they reach 30, 35, their prime of spend, consumption age or earning age, they are predominantly 90% of the shopping is happening online. Now again, that doesn't mean offline is dead. It means that there are categories which go purely online. There are certain categories which will live offline only. For example, fine dining will always remain offline. I mean, you cannot replace. We go there for an ambience perspective, right? But you're on demand. Your wife feels that today she's not in mood to cook. You call up one of these startups and say, deliver food, right? Now that's, so online to offline, on-demand services, all these are merging, right? This is how it will pan out. 2008, if you're saying 1.2, whatever stat you said, I think we are grossly underestimating that. We will be much larger. The pie, the online pie of the total retail will be much larger.
Can I add just a perspective to this? In India, in about like 5 years back, out of the entire sort of retail space, what was the e-commerce? It was practically zero. It was actually in the rounding errors. The entire e-commerce in India was actually contributed by travel e-commerce, more like flights and rail and those kind of things. In 4-5 years, we have come to this point. How many of you guys carried those Android and iPhone devices in your pockets 5 years back? Most of us, almost all of us did not. The trillion dollar commerce number that you're talking about has reached to this point in the history of the mankind. I mean, there has been a growth in the retail space year on year since the inception of mankind. And it has reached to this point. This whole e-commerce space has reached to this point in just a matter of like half a decade. We are grossly underestimating the power of compounding that happens. And it's growing at a very, 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 very dramatic pace. In the next 5 years, you don't know what is going to actually happen. Who imagined that we'll all be carrying these kind of powerful computers in our pockets at that time? The whole range of online to offline things, on demand, things which were not even thinkable 5 years back, 10 years back, things which used to look like magic are now becoming real reality. And what will be the reality 5 years now? It's anybody's imagination right now. So I think we are grossly underestimating the pace at which this online contribution to commerce will grow. But what I think is we should come out of the thinking of e-commerce as a cannibalizer for the retail commerce, because it is not that dollar is shifting from here to here. I think it is going to be an overall growth in the economy. There are going to be many new use cases which will emerge, which will basically create a different kind of commerce behavior among the consumers. I think that's going to be a new economy which we can't conceive right now. Only time will show us how it is going to look like.
Very true. So we are increasing the size of the pie. Yes.
Yeah, hi. So what I wanted to know is basically with the rapid pace of mobile commerce, right? How do you think, what is the most significant factor in terms of how consumers buy online? Like what is the most like kind of drastic change that you see in the way they will purchase online using with this mobile device is small. For example, we're seeing Flipkart launch image search, right? So they are trying to change the way consumers search online using images where, you know, they get inspiration from around them. On this trend, are there other things that you're seeing where, you know, 5 years down the line, people will be doing completely something different to what they're doing today, which is doing Google search on a computer, for example, or walking into an offline store?
I think that you kind of touched on it briefly. Was with adding a service with Flipkart to make it easier to search. The number one thing that's going to drive it is usability and experience. And I think that's one thing, me personally, it makes it difficult to leave the PC because there's big, pretty pictures. I can get more of a sense of what I'm going to purchase, and I can find more information more easily. So the retailers that are able to condense that into an app experience effectively are going to see the most lift from it. The other thing is you're going to see driving it is the ability to pay conveniently. I can remember 6 months ago trying to buy an airline ticket on my mobile phone, typing in my credit card number, and thinking to myself, this is not scalable. So the increased payment capabilities in a mobile format that are secure, that are convenient, that are linked directly to the payment source or the funding source the consumer wants, that's going to be the next game changer. And the third thing I think is the element of trust and security. I don't think it's as big an issue right now because everybody's just wondering, does this actually work? But knowing that your payment details, knowing that your personal details, your purchase history, your activity is safe and secure and not being manipulated by the retailer, not being stolen by the bad guys, and effectively being accounted for by the payments gateway and engine, those are going to be the key things that are going to keep consumers in the mobile space and not reflecting whether or not they want to find another avenue to purchase. Or in India, for example, they're still insisting on paying in cash. So making sure that the infrastructure, the trust, the security is there, and combined with the experience, that's really what's going to continue to drive it.
I'm actually seeing two trends specifically in this area. About 20 years back, most of us we definitely used to buy from offline shops, but most of us used to buy things when we needed the things. So our shirt will get torn and we'll buy a new shirt. Our trouser or jeans will get torn and it's about to get torn, so we'll buy a new pair of jeans. We used to buy things when we needed them. But today we buy things in the offline world when we like them. We don't buy things when we need them. We buy things if there is a good discount. We buy things if something that we are liking. We buy things if one of our kids or wife is actually demanding something. So we buy things when we like it rather than when we need it. But if you look at the e-commerce behavior right now, it is still largely about when we need things. So you go to a site with the intention of going and buying. You don't go to a Zara or a Shopper Stop with the intention of buying. You just go for their window shopping and you like something and you end up buying it. But that is not a behavior that is largely prevalent right now in the e-commerce space. But over the last 2 years or so, I'm sort of seeing that behavior coming up. There are many new companies which are trying to come up in this space. Hey, somebody is trying to shop around in the offline world and that person sharing the pictures, selfie with all the dresses, etc., taking opinions. All of these sort of the new generation sort of things which are coming out, where I think e-commerce will also move to a time when we'll start buying things when we just like them. We stumble upon those things while we are having our online journey, which is comparable to the offline window shopping behavior, and we'll just end up buying it because either we like the product or we like the price, or we just get impulsive. We just want to treat ourselves with a nice delight, and we'll just buy the products. Second behavior or the trend that I'm seeing is that there is a lot of showrooming effect which is starting to happen. If I need to buy a book, I'll go to a shop, I'll discover a book on the shop, and I'll invariably try out the price on the internet. I recently needed to buy a MacBook Pro. I went to the shop, finalized the product, and I checked what is the price on the internet. I could see that the price on the internet is actually 4,000 rupees cheaper than the MacBook Pro. I actually showed to that guy, boss, look, I can buy it online 4,000 rupees, but I can buy from you right now if you give me some goodies. And I desperately wanted to buy it at that time because of some business requirements, so I ended up buying it, but I would have otherwise bought it online because I was getting it 4,000 rupees cheap. And you can actually see a lot of this trend coming out in a lot of online companies, be it in the furniture space, or even I saw a Lenskart showroom recently in Bangalore. A lot of those companies actually starting to open the showrooms. And this online-offline sort of divide is actually going to get blended quite a lot, because we want to discover things and then we actually buy things from the best source or the channel. And in that sense, I find the existing offline commerce companies to be very well suited to capture that. They have already figured out their supply chain, they already have figured out their logistics, and they already have a good presence across the board. What is probably missing is just the DNA problem in terms of how do you build a good consumer experience for facilitating this kind of a behavior.
The other trend which could be driven by mobile is personalization and customization, especially if a really big offline player plays it well on the mobile space, then the ability to recognize and understand the behavior of the consumer is much, much deeper in the mobile, right? So this, anybody who plays it well will be a great differentiator for both offline guy, right?
I think this has been
and one more point to that, the mobile commerce doesn't end just with browsing add to cart. You can push cashback coupons, scratch coupons, discount coupons, and you still go to the store, show that, scan it, you get that. So mobile literally helps in various ways, not only just the traditional adding to the cart and then buying, go to the proceed to checkout. It's not just the mobile. Mobile does still more than that.
So I just wanted to add context to the numbers the gentleman shared previously. The 1% of sales that is predicted is when the purchase itself is completed online, right? So, and even today it's 0.1, 0.4% is still completed online. But a lot of the purchase decision making still happens online, which is not attributed to. Even a lot of the offline shopping that's happening today is still influenced online. I think that's the more generic understanding rather than it's just, okay, let me buy this online. That's not what we're talking about.
Sure, thanks. I think we have run out of time, literally. It's been a very, very engaging conversation, at least personally for me. If not, I don't know for all of you. But I don't think this is the end of it. I think you'll get a lot of chance to interact with our esteemed panelists even after the session. So I'll encourage you to do that. But thank you all. Thank you for your patient hearing and some very good questions. And thank you, panelists, for sharing your invaluable insights on this topic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.